What is going on, my EDC fam? Before I get into the video, I wanted to make a quick mention on my giveaway, the Kaiser Milita. The only way you need to enter is make sure you're subscribed on YouTube or following on TikTok and comment under the video titled Giveaway Alert. Now, as of November 1st, I'll be giving this knife away if we can get 500 followers on TikTok. Right now, I'm currently sitting at 360, so we're getting there. We're only about 140 away, and I know we can do it. But we got to hit that goal before November 1st. YouTube, it was 100. We already freaking blew past that goal. Thank you guys so fucking much. I really appreciate you. This Kaiser Milita is amazing. I can't wait to give it away to one of you guys. Thanks for tuning in. What's going on, my EDC fam? Before I get into what I'm talking about today, I want to say a mental health quote for you guys, because I am the mental health EDC guy. I feel like I'm not tapping into that enough, when really that's what I truly want to be talking about. Let's start with a simple one today. You are stronger than you think. You've gotten through every bad day in your life, and you are undefeated. You see, mental health is a big thing for me. A lot of people struggle with it in America, and I'm sure across the rest of the world as well. And I feel like there's not enough people talking about it anymore. Now, I'm just some 22-year-old from Utah, but I want to try my best to be that person for at least someone. So if you or somebody you know is struggling, talk to someone or talk to them, please. Alright, now let's get to a higher point of the video. So today I wanted to talk about different blade styles, what they're used for, and how you know which one is for you. So I have six different blade styles on the table right now. These are my more common. Obviously, there's going to be some weirder ones. The weirdest one sitting on this table is probably Spyderco PM2. I don't even know what to call that blade style. I call it kind of just like a leaf style point blade. But yeah, so I wanted to talk about just blade styles, blade shapes, what they're good for, and if you know which one you may need as a person. All right, now let's talk about the most common one first, the drop point. Now, the knife I'm holding today is the Benchmade Bugiut with AWT aluminum scales. But I'm not talking about the knife itself. I'm just talking about the specific drop point style. Now, the drop point style really is the jack of all trades. Now, how do you determine if a drop point? You follow the spine here, and that drops down to a point as the point reaches the drop of the spine. Like I said, this blade style is the jack of all trades. It's going to do pretty much everything you want it to. It doesn't excel at one specific thing, but it's good at pretty much everything. It's good at piercing, it's good at slicing, it's got plenty of big belly for slicing, got a real nice pointy tip. Hang on, you focus. Hang on. Come on. It's got a really nice pointy tip for penetrating. The biggest thing for this is, like I just said, it's a jack of all trades. So there's going to be certain things like edge retention and tip retention. Like a Tonto is going to have better tip retention than a drop point will. A sheep's foot's going to have better edge retention than a drop point will. However, if you're looking for just the most average utility, drop point's going to be your way to go. If you want something simplistic that's not too crazy, not too scary, the drop point's going to be your way to go. It's the most common blade style, and it's the most common for a reason, because it works. Now, drop point's great, but there is, in my opinion, a better jack of all trades blade than drop point. And that's the clip point for me. Now, the biggest difference between clip point and drop point, you can see here, it angles a lot more harshly towards the tip. What that's going to do, it's going to help with better edge retention, better control over your edge as you're cutting something, and it's going to provide a little bit more of a slicing belly. You see now these are two different knives, and obviously in a bigger scale, this one's still going to have more belly. The clip point that I'm holding today is the Demko AD20.5. This is my work knife. You can tell by, it's been kind of put to work. This is my work knife. This is the knife I carry almost every day. I actually switch between the Benchmade Bugiut and the Demko AD20.5. I absolutely love the clip point style. I feel I have a little bit more control over it. It works good in my hand. I don't do anything crazy to where I need something like a Tonto or a sheep's foot, something that's more of a generalized expertise. So I do really like the clip point, but it has the similar weaknesses as drop point. It's good at everything, but it's not great at one certain thing. It's not going to have the tip retention as, like I said, a Tonto. It's not going to have the edge retention as like a sheep's foot. But overall, if you want something that you have a little bit more control over and you know exactly where the tip is going to be, or you want to know exactly where the tip's going to be, it's going to be the clip point. Now, as much as I love the clip point, I understand that there's multiple blade styles that have more of a specific design to them. Let's talk about the sheep's foot here. Now, I have a buddy who's an electrician. So first off, the way to determine a sheep's foot is the long, flat spine, and then it rounds out to the tip. Now, what this does is you see that this tip's a little bit more blunted. You still have a tip down here, but it's nothing like a drop point, a clip point, or a Tonto, or really anything else on the table. What this is good for is really precision cuts. My buddy likes using it as an electrician because he can really get those precise cuts that he needs to be able to cut conduit, strip wire, whatever it may be. The biggest strength for this is obviously slicing, right? It's not going to quite have good as puncturability as the drop point and the clip point, and it's definitely not going to compare to the Tonto. But the slicing for a sheep's foot is absolutely insane. If you need to cut open boxes or cut tape, or like I said, anything precision-wise, the sheep's foot is your way to go. I forgot to mention this one is the Civivi Vision FG. I got it in the Damascus model, but you can also get multiple different colors of scales here with different steels. I believe it's Nitro V, and then this is 9CR, 10CR mixed. All right, now let's talk about the Tonto. Now, I'm not the biggest Tonto fan. It's not something that I would ever use for its need. If I needed one, that's why I have one. This is the Microtech LUDT Gen 3 with red aluminum handles. I love this thing. This one actually has a little bit of backstory for it. So I recently traded away my Microtech LUDT drop point because I have so many drop points. And it wasn't unique. It was black on black, like a lot of my knives are. But my grandpa seen it, and he really wanted to get one. And I was just joking with him, like, I'm 22 years old, and you haven't bought me a knife yet. And so he ended up buying me the red aluminum Microtech LUDT Gen 3 Tonto version. So, as much as I don't like Tonto, this one's going to stay in my collection, and I'm definitely going to be really careful with it because it's got a little bit more sentimental value. Anyway, enough about the knife. So, as I mentioned, the Tonto is going to be absolutely amazing at piercing. The way to determine a Tonto is the spine will dip down to the tip, but then it's also going to have two edges. You're going to have your straight edge here, and then you're going to have your secondary edge here. That's going to reinforce the tip strength. That's going to make it a lot easier to pierce something. The biggest problem with the Tonto, in my opinion, is sharpening. Because you have to treat this as two different edges. It's going to take a little bit longer to sharpen, especially if you're not someone who sharpens their knife every day. If you're not too good at it, the Tonto can get a little bit tricky. But if you can figure it out and get comfortable with it, the Tonto is a fine working piece of metal. It's going to be good at slicing. It's going to be good at penetrating. It's going to be good at anything you really need it to. Now, I've always said that Tonto is probably the best overall style of blade. Yes, there's jack of all trades here, and these have their place. These do have their place. And this one obviously has its place as well. But this is a lot more specific of a place than these two. These two are just your general all-around, everyday situations. The Tonto, I feel, combines the greatness of clip point and sheep's foot. Kind of. Because obviously Tonto is going to have a little bit more of a defined tip. And I don't think sheep's foot is the right example. But it's, a Tonto is almost like a modified drop point in a way. Because if you really think about it, like a clip point, for example, this straight edge here, you still kind of have to treat that tip as like a secondary edge, right? From like right here on. Funny enough, the Demko, I was sharpening it, if you can't tell, I put an edge on this. And everything down here was 20 degrees, right before the tip. But then I got to the tip and it turned into like 22, 23. I had to spend like an hour getting it all down to 20. That sucked. But, I don't know, in my opinion, I think Tonto was overall the best utility, just all around everything knife. Now, let's talk about the Spyderco PM2. I don't know what to call this blade shape. I'm just going to call it a leaf shape because it kind of looks like a leaf. The biggest thing with this, it's also going to have really strong edge retention, and it's going to have a very strong tip. Because it's almost like a super long Tonto, in my opinion. It's got a very straight edge. You can see it doesn't nearly recurve as much as a clip point or a drop point does. It's pretty well straight the whole way. Now, the biggest thing with this is, yes, it has great tip retention, but it's just going to be like the Bugiut and the Demko here. The clip point and the drop point. It's kind of more of a jack of all trades. It doesn't really excel at one specific thing. Now, it has way better penetrating power than these two, but it's not going to have the same tip retention as like a Tonto. Now, I absolutely love this blade for a couple of reasons. For one, I feel that I have the most control with this knife. You see, when I'm holding it, the edge and like the middle of the spine goes in line with the handle. So with this knife, you have the most control with this leaf shape than you do, in my opinion, any other blade style. But the awesome thing about this blade style, it's super slicey, it can get super sharp, it's going to do everything you need it to. It's just not going to specialize in a certain format of what you may need it to do. Alright, now let's talk about the last blade style that I think is important to talk about. This is an OTF, it's just a little Vipertec, it's nothing crazy. It's just the best example I had of like a spear point. Now this is, you could argue, more of a dagger. I have a couple other spear points that are a lot bigger that I didn't really want to show because they're just bulky. Spear points are good for one thing and one thing only: piercing. Now, yes, you can do a whole bunch of other things with them, but with a spear point, you have these two sides here. Now, obviously, this is sharpened on both sides. Most spear points, you're not going to have the second edge. It's going to be a false edge. But the fact that you can have an edge that meets to the tip, I feel is going to give the absolute best tip retention. But you're going to sacrifice in slicing and control. So if you need to pierce something, if you need to drill a hole, kind of, like if you need to drill a hole with a knife, a spear point is your way to go. I'm not a huge fan of spear points, that's why I don't have many. At first I loved them. I thought they were the best. I thought they did everything. But as I've grown to be more of an enthusiast and collector, I've realized that's not quite the case. But yeah, spear point is great. It has its place. It's why it's a blade style. But it's a very specific, for example, going camping style. Versus a Tonto is going to pierce. Versus a sheep's foot's going to slice. There's not really much slicing power when it comes to this. This is strictly for penetration. Also, in my opinion, one of the best self-defense blade styles. God forbid you get in a situation like that. So if you want a self-defense tool, consider a spear point if you want to go this route. But that is my take on 6 different blade styles, what they're good for, what they're meant for. If I had to tell anyone, if you just want to do anything every day, it would be one of these 3, 100%. Tonto is definitely more for piercing, so if you're doing a lot of prying or something like that, the Tonto is the way to go. If you're just doing everyday work, the clip point or the drop point. For honestly, these are neck and neck for me. I couldn't pick one specifically. But that is all I got for you at the moment. Thank you so much for watching. Remember the giveaway that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Let me know how I can improve as a person. Let me know how I can improve as a person. You don't really know me that well. You know me as a knife enthusiast. Let me know how I can improve my content, and I will be happy to listen to the constructive criticism and get better as I go along. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day.